welcome back to my channel. This is Becky and we're going to continue talking about the crown chakra. And in this one, we're going to talk about release. So you might want to screenshot that so you can take a closer look while I tell you more about this chakra and the card. Okay. We have the gemstones and the crystals that are associated with this one is the clear quartz, the diamond, and selenite. Your essential oils would be frankincense, myrrh, and neroli. The flower essences associated with the crown chakra are white, yarrow, skullcap, and lotus. We also have here, normally you would say, oh, a food. Well, with this one, it's actually none. It is fasting. That's where you ingest only water or juices. And I know people in this day and age, I know myself, recovering food addict, I used to say if the worst thing I do after, helping all these people not commit suicide or homicide or spousal abuse or child abuse and elderly abuse, if all day I'm doing that, the worst thing I do is come home and eat a pizza, smoke a joint, and go to sleep, well, then I'm doing all right. Well, that's not okay because it's still blocking you from fully experiencing the Holy Spirit and what God's plan is for you, right? We don't want to be martyrs here. So the fasting has really helped me with clarity, right? And being able to regain that sense of, I'm only hurting myself. Nobody's gonna care, but that's still hurting myself when I'm mad at other people for me playing the martyr, right? So I just stopped. Which is why we're talking about release. The shadow gray storm. I can no longer keep your secrets. The legend. Nikita cuts through the graveyard as she rushes home in the wind and rain. She is terrified when Shadow Gray Storm appears and speaks in her own voice, repeating painful things she has said to herself and others. It's all your fault. I'll never forgive any of you. And as she listens in the rain to her own words, she learns it is she who has been making herself miserable. She leaves the graveyard with a changed heart, ready to forgive herself and others. What's interesting is I had a friend of mine that liked to go up to Mackinac Island in Michigan, and so I would go with her and we would have fun just walking around because it's like a time warp. There's no vehicles, it's only horse-drawn carriages, but the island is small enough that you can walk it, and it has some beautiful things there. Well, there's also graveyard there, and also like a historical battle site of some, I wish I had a better memory. It was some important battle place, so you get to see all the military kind of historical site. But I love going to these things, because it just reminds me of how short really life is. And when I was walking around looking at gravestones, when I went to Mississippi for my great aunt Dot's 100th birthday, we got to see where some of our relatives that were military who had very high honors got to be in a certain part of that cemetery that honored the deceased soldiers that, were heroes. And it was just interesting because I walked around and I would see these old dates, 18, whatever, and it would be, of a baby. And I'd be like, man, and then next to it would be like the 19-year-old mom, right? Who you figured, oh, she must have died in childbirth, or, there's just, or, smallpox or something. And so when I walk through, I think of each of those was a story. Each of them had an entire life that they lived that nobody would really remember, right? Because it's been over 100 years. So that's why I'm trying to immortalize the wisdom that I've gained through all the hard knocks of life, to be able to help the future generations be able to live healthier, more balanced lives in order to experience heaven on earth. And so I'm so grateful that you're here during this pivotal time in humanity's evolution, helping and anchoring in the light for the future generations. Here's your inspiration. This is about personal responsibility and release of blame. It is time to clear the debris and move on. You cannot move forward while you continue to hide. I know for me, speaking truth about things that were done in the dark, within societal frameworks that are collapsing, has been very enlightening. Because these were things that I thought would go to the grave with me, and now God is saying, no, you gotta share your story. You gotta let these kids know that it's better than it used to be, and that they're in charge of taking over that baton and continuing to make the earth a safer place for all of humanity. So thank you for doing your part as well. And I hope your voice is being heard. And if you don't think it is, then reach out, homans.consulting@gmail.com, and we'll talk about your situation and what I can do to help. Your personal inquiry. This indicates healing family of origin issues. Am I ready to face my past and let go? Maybe after you watch this video, you can reflect on that and write about it in your journal. This card indicates that healing family of origin issues. It's important for your happiness. Are you ready to face your past and let go? I have self-help books available on Amazon KDP if you need some extra support and don't really want to talk to me. It's okay. If you need it at a discounted price, go ahead and email me, and then I can sell it to you at a discounted price. Your key ideas: release, dwelling on past, righteous anger, change in consciousness, judgment day, seeing clearly, hidden truth, and great discovery. Your key words: healing, remission, and integration. Here's your meditation. To do this meditation, you must have no distractions. Shadow Graystorm simply asks that you sit and listen in the silence. You will hear yourself. That is God talking to you. Your ancestors are talking to you. The Holy Spirit is talking to you. But are you listening? If you sincerely seek freedom, Shadow Graystorm may come to see you. So just keep in mind that not all storms come to destroy you. Sometimes they come to clear the path. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and I hope you have a great day. I look forward to talking to you in the next one.